Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. My name is Tony Penny, and I'm the director of the Annenberg Presidential Learning Center here at the Foundation. And what I'd like to ask you to do now is please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance in honor of our men and women in uniform. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Tonight we are here to celebrate the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program, which honors and rewards outstanding and civically engaged student leaders here in Ventura County. Since 2000, we have awarded more than $500,000 to Ventura County students. Recipients of tonight's awards demonstrate the leadership, character, communication skills, academic achievement, and commitment to Ventura County that would have made our 40th president very proud. Ronald Reagan's leadership was legendary, and in being recognized tonight, you honor his legacy. This year, we received 175 applications from 26 local high schools, and tonight we are pleased to recognize you as part of an elite group of 100 semifinalists. As we read through your applications, we found that there were a number of common themes. Among them, in general, you were givers, people who gave your time and talents to others. In addition to being giving, you were dreamers. You were motivated to do whatever it took to follow them and make your dreams a reality. Well, tonight, we are very fortunate to hear from someone who possesses these same qualities. Born in Oklahoma, Philip Palmer pursued a career in journalism that took him to Wichita, Denver, and ultimately right here in Los Angeles. Today, he is the weekday morning anchor for ABC 7 Eyewitness News. For many of you, you probably see him every morning. He's also a strong supporter of organ donation and actually walked the walk by donating his own kidney to a friend. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Philip Palmer.
Thank you, Tony. Start by saying, you guys make me really nervous. Every morning when I go to work, there's about 4 people in the building. We start at about 4 o'clock. Most of you are not awake at that point, nor do you know where you are on the planet at that time of day. But here you are, and here I am in front of you, and all of a sudden I have to speak, and I don't get a teleprompter or anything. Tony took me on a quick little tour. I've been here before, but I got to go behind the scenes and see some photos of people who've spoken here before. It's quite a distinguished list, and it is intimidating as well. And I look up and I see Air Force One. I've been here before to see that. And I kind of wanted to start off by doing something I don't know that anybody else has done before. I hope you guys don't mind. Can we take a selfie? Because I'd really love to do the whole, if I can get my phone to work here. I got the whole Facebook thing. I know you kids these days, you do that sort of thing. Let's see here. Has anybody? Let's do it this way. Okay, everybody's going to smile, right? Okay, smile and wave. Do 2. Ellen DeGeneres has got nothing on me, right? That will be on the ABC 7 Morning Show Facebook page, so please make sure and do that. I'm also going to start off another thing I bet nobody has ever done here. Have you ever heard of the show Duck Dynasty? Yeah, how many times has someone stood here and mentioned some guys with big beards who made a living selling duck calls? That's where I'm from. That is my hometown. If you've ever seen that show and the helicopter goes along, you see the water tower, that's my high school. You guys are here in Ventura County, and I went to high school in town. That when I was there, no kidding, it's the largest city in the country that does not have a new car dealership. But you can drive right across the river, the Washita River, into Monroe, Louisiana, which is where I went to college, and you can, of course, buy a new car there. I went to Northeast Louisiana University. It's not even called that anymore. Now it's the University of Louisiana at Monroe. But in my silent little protest, I refuse to acknowledge that. I have my diploma that says Northeast Louisiana University. It's also kind of where some of the Duck Dynasty guys went to school. It was my first choice. It's where I wanted to go to college. I was so excited to be able to go there. It is a very small school. But what I'm going to talk about tonight is not really where I'm from, not where you guys are from, and really not even where you're going. What I hope to maybe get you guys to think about is to enjoy where you are. Enjoy the moment you're in right now, whether that's today or tomorrow or next week or next year. Don't get so caught up on looking ahead that you miss out on where you are right now. Many people I went to high school wanted to go to LSU, they wanted to go to Louisiana Tech, they wanted to go to these different places. And quite frankly, I got to tell you, one of the reasons I wanted to go to Northeast is because I really didn't have to do anything to get in. All I had to do was take what's called the ACT test. Did you guys do the ACT or SAT? Think about this. I never even had to take the SAT. So some people talk about the 1,500 or whatever their score was. I didn't even have to take it. They let me in, which is saying a lot about the university. But I didn't get caught up in the places I didn't go. I was born in Oklahoma. I loved the University of Oklahoma, but I couldn't afford to go there. I didn't also want to move away from my family and home. I'm always impressed with people who've moved away. But I didn't get caught up in where I couldn't go. I loved where I went. It was a small school. I went to college with a lot of my high school friends. I actually lived at home when I was in school. I would change that part. But maybe some of you guys didn't get to go to the choice of your college, the number one. That's the one thing I've learned here in California is how difficult it is to get into the school that you want to go. Now, understand, I know everyone in here has accomplished more in their high school years than I did. And that's not because I felt like I was a derelict in high school. I mean, I had a job, I had made good grades, and I did plan always on going to college. I was the first person in my family to go ahead and go to college and get a degree. So I'm not saying, I just think you guys are just the cream of the crop. You're spectacular in what you've accomplished, and you should be proud just being invited to this. But the thing is, when I was in that small college, in that small town, one of the great things we were able to do is we were able to really embrace television news and journalism. I got my hands on the camera. I actually was on the radio while I was in college, and it helped me learn. And I don't know that I would have gotten that experience had I gone to a larger school. But I knew people that I was in school with who said, I'm never working in a small town. I can think of this one person, and she made a mark on me forever. She kept telling me, no way I'm working in a small town. I'm not working here in Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe, Louisiana, market size 120. Los Angeles is market number 2. So imagine how small that town is. But she didn't want anything to do with that. She was moving on. But the thing is, she never even worked in the industry. She got so caught up on where she wanted to be, she kind of fell out of love with the job that we were going to school for, journalism, telling stories. You know, I really didn't even want to be on TV. I wanted to go to law school, so I kind of failed at going to law school and fell into TV. But again, it was one of those things where I was enjoying being where I was. I wasn't caught up on where I wanted to go. A lot of times parents get really mad at me because I sometimes will tell kids at school, don't set goals. Okay, so all of the parents here can be mad at me now. It's not really what I mean when I say don't set goals. I had an idea that at some point I'd like to live in Los Angeles, but it wasn't what was going to make me happy. What was going to make me happy was enjoying the journey. When I was in college, I was able to do my internship at a television station right there in Monroe, Louisiana. A lot of people who go to school here in California, they do internships at Channel 7, but you know, they're not going to have their first job be at Channel 7. They'll move away. So for me, again, instead of looking at the sad part about being from a small town and wanting to move to Los Angeles maybe, and wow, how is a redneck from Louisiana with a really thick Southern accent ever going to be able to move away from here? Instead of focusing on that, I just loved telling stories. And I ended up meeting as an internship a great friend of mine named Doug Joubert. Doug helped me get my first job. I was an intern at Channel 8 in Monroe, Louisiana, and he gave me this wonderful gift. I graduated in December, and he said, you know what? You have a job in January. Most people don't get that benefit. Go enjoy the month of December, and you'll start January 1. And so I always used to tell Doug, how in the world can I pay you back? He said, you can't. You can't pay me back. But here's what you can do for me. You can help somebody in the future. Somebody in the future is going to ask you for help, just like you needed help from me. And it's your responsibility to pay me back in that way. I was 22 years old. That's the best promise ever. Of course I'll do that, no problem. I don't even have to buy you a gift. But it actually ended up being not a difficult repayment, but a very rewarding repayment. Because I have on many occasions throughout my life had young people say, what do I need to do? How can I do this? And the easiest thing would have been to say, you know what, I'm really busy, I've got to get up in the morning, it's really tough, but I always will remember Doug Joubert. Doug helped me, and it's my responsibility to pay him back. So if I hadn't if I hadn't grown up in that small town, if I hadn't gone to that small college, I never would have met Doug Joubert, and I never would have gotten my first job. And yet I did, in Monroe, Louisiana. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be there forever. That was fine with me. I was a sports guy. Think about that. I was on television in my hometown with my friends watching. I was it. You know, this was the greatest thing. But then one thing led to another, and I decided I'd look for another job. I ended up applying for a job in Wichita, Kansas. And a lot of people would think, why in the world would you want to go to Wichita, Kansas? It's flat, brown, cold, and windy, I can assure you. It ended up being the place that I met 3 of the best friends of my life. I've met a lot of people in this business who didn't want to go to those types of places. But the first weekend of June of every year for the past 17 years. So most of you guys, when you were born, these 3 friends of mine and I decided we're going to meet each other in June every year. And we have, and we're going to meet this next June, 17 years. If I had have not wanted to go to Wichita, Kansas and be a weekend sportscaster, I never would have met those people. Yes, I wanted to continue my career. Yes, I wanted to be successful, but I didn't get so caught up in that I missed out on these people. And trust me, just like in college, when I met the woman that said, I'm never working in a small market, I met a lot of people in Wichita, Kansas, who all they could think about was putting together that resume so that they could move to the next market. And when I ended up in Denver, Colorado, I got resumes from some of those people. That impression they made on me in Wichita mattered when I was recommending or not recommending them for a job in Denver, Colorado. I enjoyed the moment of Wichita. And by result of that, I ended up with great friends. And because I was in sports, I also got to go to the Final Four in New Orleans, Louisiana. So that was another one of those little small world things. Here I am in Louisiana, move away to Kansas. The University of Kansas plays in the Final Four in New Orleans. So suddenly I can speak in my native dialect and nobody had a problem with it. So it was one of those wonderful moments. I loved that part of it. Then I moved to Denver, Colorado from Wichita, another place I just thought, I'll never leave here. This is so much fun. But I was in sports. Sports was a lot of work, much more so than you might think. So I thought, you know what? I want to look around. And I looked around in news. And I thought, okay, I'll try news if somebody will hire me. And lo and behold, in Denver, Colorado, they decided they would take a chance on this sports guy from Wichita, Kansas. So I ended up going and started doing morning news in Denver, Colorado. And because I had a sports background, I got to cover the Super Bowl when the Broncos actually won one, as opposed to losing one in the first 8 seconds of a game like this year. But that was in San Diego. And so that was one of those experiences as a journalist, as a sports reporter that I'll never forget. And while I was in Denver, I met the 2 people who are the godparents to my daughter. Again, one of those things where I could have gotten caught up in really wanting to get at Los Angeles. I mean, I was 1 market away. I was so close. I could have just focused on job and work and missed out on the now. I didn't focus on where I was from. I didn't focus on where I was going. I enjoyed where I was. And I got fired. You're not always going to have everything work out so perfectly for you. TV news is kind of an interesting beast. If I sold cars, if I sold insurance, if I had a product that I was trying to sell to somebody, and at the end of the day I couldn't sell it, it's because when I go home and I tell my wife and my family, they didn't like my product. In TV news, the product's me. And in Denver, they felt that somebody else could do my job better. And so they let me go. And I was out of a job. I would have stayed in Denver forever. I loved Colorado. I loved that city. I had some of my best friends in the world right there in Denver, Colorado. Had I not gotten fired, I would have gotten hired in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, California. Denver's number 18. Los Angeles is 2. Here's this kid from West Monroe, Louisiana, who's now in the second largest market in the country. Had I not gotten fired in Denver, I would have never met my wife. I would have never known my son. I would have never had my daughter. Maureen and Flint are here with us. Our daughter's probably asleep by now. It's one of those things where you don't know what's going to happen as you start on this wonderful life that you have. You're going to have highs and you're going to have lows. And you guys are some of the most driven people I will have the privilege of meeting. The video that we watched, coming up with lemons to give, thinking out of the box that, hey, we don't need to throw this stuff away. Who thinks of that at such a young age? Look to your left and look to your right. That's who does. But everything's not going to be perfect. Don't be so driven to get to the end game that you miss the journey. And don't be devastated by those moments. When I was in Denver and I got fired, I had 2 options. Believe it or not, I had an option to go to Dallas, Texas. Which, being from Monroe, Louisiana, Dallas was kind of like Mecca. That's where I eventually wanted to be and end up. I loved Dallas. My mother and father live in Longview. My brother's in Plano. My sister's still in Monroe. That was it. That was the game. And I had a job there. But I had an interview in Los Angeles. So I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, you're 35 years old. If you take this job in Dallas, that's it. You're never going to change. You're never going to Los Angeles. But I didn't have a job in Los Angeles. I only had an interview in Los Angeles. And I rolled the dice. And I took the interview and turned down the job in Dallas. So again, it was one of those things of, yes, I went ahead and I trusted my goal, my dream, my thing that I wanted to do. But had I not had that low, had I not had that moment in my life where it didn't work out, where something was taken from me, I went to my job every day. I did everything they asked of me. I did extra work, but it didn't work. They didn't like me well enough. But because they let me go, I got the best thing in my life. I got the best thing in my life. Where is my career going to go? I have no idea. But I'm going to enjoy meeting you today. I'm going to enjoy getting up and going to work tomorrow. I am going to appreciate the fact that I and you are standing underneath Air Force One. Pretty spectacular. So many of you have done community service. I try to do as much as I can. Be honest with yourself. In many cases, some of us do it because it's a line on the resume. It enhances our involvement in the community. That may be why you started to do it. But also be honest with yourself and think about the effort you put in for your community service and how much you got back. How many times have you thought, I told them I'd be there. I don't really want to go. You end up there and you are lifted up. Your spirit is alive. You realize the blessings you have in your life. You realize how neat it is to meet the people that you're helping, and you realize, wow, I'm getting back so much more than I give. What I love to see about the video is that for you guys, it hasn't stopped. You didn't think, okay, I've got my scholarship, now I'm off to college, let me have some fun. No, it affected you, what got you there, and you continue to do it. And I hope that that's what you guys do, that you continue to give and get back. 11 years ago, when I was here in California, somebody called and said, hey, we've got this little autism walk. Would you come out and be our MC? Which, quite frankly, that's kind of what I thought I was going to do tonight. And a couple of days ago, I looked at what was being asked, and they said, no, you're the keynote speaker. So all of a sudden, I had to kind of rethink things. I was like, wow, I thought I was going to be introducing someone. But that's what they asked me 11 years ago. Said, would you come out and do this autism walk? And I said, sure. It was at Dodger Stadium. It was rainy, and there were maybe 700 people, 1,000 people there, but I met some wonderful people there. I really didn't do anything. They did all of the work. I showed up, and I was the MC. 700, 800 people, 1,000. 11 years later, 40,000 people showed up at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena for this autism walk. I got to watch it grow. It didn't grow because of me. It grew because of the amazing volunteer work that was done by so many other people. I just got to be part of it. And I hope you guys continue to be a part of something and watch it grow. And yes, some people know of the fact that a few years ago I donated a kidney to my friend. And it was an emotional experience. It was, for me, something that was a moment that was driven by faith. I prayed a lot about it. And it worked out, and it was great. He's doing well, I'm doing fine. But again, it's one of those things where everybody's so amazed. They go, wow, look at that. But 7,000 people every year are living organ donors. I happen to be just one of them. I got back so much more than I ever gave. I've watched my friend live a wonderfully healthy life for the past 6 years. He's watched his daughters grow up. How much of a gift is that to me? Not the other way around. And the best thing is, he doesn't call me anymore to say thank you. We were friends, and you know, friends, you sometimes talk, you sometimes don't talk. There for a little while, it was like every day, hey, really, just want to call and say thanks. And I'm like, you've got to stop. You really got to stop. And again, I got back more than I ever gave. Now, again, to kind of start to wrap things up, because I know you're smelling the food and a lot of you are anticipating the awards, and congratulations again to all of you for being here. Even though I say, don't focus too much on the future, make sure you appreciate where you are. I do say, be professional and embrace your profession. I love what I do. It makes it a lot easier to go to work at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when you actually kind of enjoy it and you enjoy the people you're with. I've been all over the world doing what I've done. I'll never forget coming out of church on Christmas Day, getting a phone call wondering who in the world is calling me over and over and over while I'm in church. And it was work. I went from church to a plane and ended up in Thailand because of the tsunami. And I spent the worst week of my profession watching Thailand try to recover from that horrible thing. And when I came home, I immediately went to one of the hotels in Beverly Hills because my best friend from Wichita was here covering the Rose Bowl. Imagine that twist, going from there to here, and he's sitting there looking at me going, you didn't have to come. And I said, I needed to see you. That was a tough week. I've been to Baghdad, Iraq, right after they captured Saddam Hussein. That might have been a little foolish since we just drove in there and had no security or anything, but that was also a very interesting week. So I say you don't necessarily get so caught up in your goals that you miss the journey, but I do say embrace whatever it is you choose to do and do it well. There's nothing wrong with being driven. Just don't let that drive you. Enjoy the journey. Because one of the things, as I close, that I always thought of when I started on this career, and I challenge you this same thing, how do you want to be remembered? I don't want to be remembered as the guy on TV. I don't want to be remembered necessarily as a great newsman or a great journalist or a long icon now that I'm over 50. That's not what I want to be remembered by the people who know me. And when you look around at your family, how do you want them to remember you? I want my family to remember me as a person who gave back, who thought of other people first, but also happened to be kind of good at what he did. So I challenge you as you move off into college, as you start your lives, as you start your career, enjoy the journey, and make sure you ask yourself, how will people remember me? Because I think looking at you, they will remember you fondly. Thank you very much for being here.
All right, in exchange for those remarkable words, I expect each and every one of you to be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, tuned in to Channel 7. Thanks again, Mr. Palmer. On behalf of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation, we definitely appreciate your inspirational words for all of us here today. To continue with our program, I'm pleased to introduce an alumnus of the Reagan administration who was also President Reagan's chief of staff during the final 10 years of his life. Today, she serves as our Chief Administrative Officer here at the Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Joanne Drake.
Good evening. I'm not sure I can follow Philip Palmer, but I have some money to give away, so that might be enticing. As we celebrate the history and the legacy of President Reagan this evening, we know that if he were here today, he would be looking toward the future, and he would have the utmost in optimism and confidence in our country if he saw all of your faces. Based on your qualifications for the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program, we agree that the days ahead will in fact be bright. Tonight's presentation of awards would not have been possible without the efforts of our Scholarship Selection Committee. As I call your name, please stand to be recognized. The Reagan Foundation's representatives include Mark Fitzpatrick, Melissa Giller, Beth Hickman, Jim Johnson, Alan Kay, Janet Tran, Elisa Whiteley, and last but certainly not least, Tony Penny. In addition, we are privileged this evening to have the following community representatives who serve on our selection committee with us: Cheryl Caudry, Jake Jacobs, J.P. Lake, and Sumed Shah. I'd like to point out that Sumed is a 2012 Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholar, and he's currently attending the University of Miami. Thank you, all of you, for your help this year. Now, just before the program began tonight, I think you got a sense of the level of talent recognized by the Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program with just a glimpse at the scholars we've rewarded 1 year ago. We are pleased to have 5 of these extraordinary 2013 scholars here with us tonight. Please stand when I call your name. Bronwyn Calero, who attends Oregon State; Ashley Fastenau, who attends Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University; Jacqueline Lee, who attends the University of North Carolina; Allison Malinowski, who attends UCLA; and Paige Slott, who attends the University of Colorado. We are so proud of them and all of our Reagan scholars over the years. That could be you next year. These students and thousands of other Reagan Presidential Foundation scholars have sat where you sit tonight, bright, young leaders driven to advance themselves, their families, and their communities. Scholars, tonight we celebrate your accomplishments. Before we recognize you, however, I would like to acknowledge the family, friends, teachers, and school administrators who have encouraged and supported you throughout your education. Parents, teachers, counselors, principals, superintendents, and other guests, please stand so we can recognize you with our standing ovation. Students, please do not forget any of them as you forge your future. Again this year, we offered an incentive for the school that put forth the highest number of completed applications as a percentage of its senior class. We are pleased to congratulate Lorena High School for earning this distinction. I would like to invite Principal Shannon Gomez up to the stage to receive a Staples gift card for Lorena High School with our gratitude. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our 2014 Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program semifinalists. I will read the names of our semifinalists alphabetically by school. Students, when I call the name of your school, please come quickly to the side of the stage on my right, your left, and line up in alphabetical order. Please go around and through the motorcade vehicles and around to the side of the stage. We will start with the applicants from Adolfo Camarillo High School, and then applicants from Channel Islands High School, Fillmore High School, Foothill Technology High School, and Grace Brethren also may begin lining up. As I announce your name, please walk up onto the stage to receive a small gift for participating in our scholarship program. Parents, we do have a professional photographer here, but you are welcome to come closer to the stage as your child is presented with their gift. This is practice for graduation, okay? Every student also will receive a Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program Certificate of Distinction, which you can pick up during dinner. I would also ask that you be respectful of each of our scholars and remain quiet while they are recognized. Okay, let's see how we do. From Adolfo Camarillo High School, Tyler Duffy. Megan Resnick. And Cole Trebold. The applicants from Lorena High School and Moore Park High School should line up. From Channel Islands High School, we have Manuela Herrera. From Fillmore High School, Mario Gaspar. From Foothill Technology High School, Glenda Marshall. Melissa Marshall, Alejandro Robles, Emily Sim, and Annika Zico. From Grace Brethren High School, Angeli Lobana, Rachel Wood, and Haley Yazbek. Will the applicants from Newberry Park High School, Nordhoff High School, Oak Park High School, Oaks Christian, Oxnard High School, and Rio Mesa High School please line up? And now from Lorena High School, Olivia Alacino, Brianne Baimier, Jennifer Bitterly, Quincy Bloom, Catherine Draper, Delaney Nyhoff, Enya O'Kane, Michaela Posner, Nisha Srinivasa, Brooke Stewart, and Emmeline Trocki. From Moore Park High School, Heather Balot, Courtney Ballou, Kelsey Dalen, Corinne Hickey, Peter Loya, and Michael Piccini. Royal High School, Santa Clara High School, Santa Susana High School, Simi Valley High School, and Thousand Oaks High School should line up. And now from Newbury Park High School, we have Andrew Seco, Haley Cheney, Ariana Dermond, Drew Fabricius, Lauren Heller, Jason Jiang, Stephanie Lee, Anna Lindberg, Samantha Macer, Lee Norgard, Shadman Rahman, Olivia Sullivan, and Austin Tizer. From Nordhoff High School, Taylor Livingston. And now from Oak Park High School, we have Laura Cruz Albrecht, Dorinda Fong, Gabriela Ojalvo, Catherine Shee, Kathy Sun, and Wendy Shao. From Oaks Christian High School, Jessica Lupano and Luke Shubin. From Oxnard High School, Isabella Dang. From Rio Mesa High School, Emily Dykes, Raquel Ortega, and Lexis Townley. Students from Trinity Pacific Christian, Ventura High School, and Westlake High School should now line up. From Royal High School, we have Caitlin Lowe and Grant Pitt. From Santa Clara High School, Leopoldo Albea. From Santa Susana High School, Soheil Bami and Rachel Calloway. From Simi Valley High School, Stephanie Aparicio, Melissa Gonzalez, and Madison Richards. From Thousand Oaks High School, Brennan Ackerman, Cassidy Anderson, Angelica Bloomquist, Nicole Svetnikanen, Dalton Flynn, Christopher Garvin, Jesse Hoffman, Charlie Huang, Megan Lorenz, Jed McQuegan, Paige Rosenberg, Shelby Schenkel, Nicholas Spencer, Joyce Tan, and Kelly Wisniewski. From Trinity Christian Pacific School, Crystalline Jessen, From Ventura High School, Celeste Bujold. Megan Carey. Matthew Goodkin Gold. Madeline McCormick. Paige Shelton. And Paige Wager. From Westlake High School, William Barrett, Lauren Chin, Nicholas Danishvari, Keishan Desai, Vivian Hu, Alexander Lowe, Amanda Shi, Monica Shi, Evelyn Trung, Deja Webster, Peter Yan, Kevin Yi, and Cynthia Yin. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Among these semifinalists, tonight we are privileged to award 12 with scholarships totaling $50,000 to help them pursue their college education. This year, we asked our semifinalists to record themselves delivering a speech about what it means to be an American. As I describe the recipients, I will begin with a quote from their speeches. Give it away probably pretty fast. Our first awards are for those students receiving a $2,500 Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation College Scholarship. When I call your name, please come up to the stage. According to our first recipient, being an American means sharing the American spirit of self-reliance, optimism, and hard work. This student certainly embodies these qualities as an athlete, scholar, and student body vice president. When not on the tennis court, this student is engaged with the Key Club and a church youth group. Combining her passions and skills, this recipient is destined to impact global medicine. She has already made 4 medical mission trips to Sierra Leone and hopes to work with Doctors Without Borders after medical school. This recipient will attend the University of California, Berkeley in the fall. Please welcome to the stage Ventura High School's Celeste Bujold. Our next $2,500 recipient appreciates the American, quote, freedom to follow our dreams, freedom to be ourselves, and freedom to know that you are protected and accepted regardless of our differences. As president of student government and a key attorney in mock trial, this student views leadership as a significant responsibility. A consummate volunteer, this recipient has served as a camp counselor and peer minister. He has done all of this after overcoming a serious cardiac defect and numerous heart surgeries. He is from Thousand Oaks High School and also plans to study at the University of California at Berkeley. Please join me in congratulating Jesse Hoffman. Our next recipient of a $2,500 scholarship believes that the American dream only remains a dream if one does not act on it. This student has strong ties to her heritage and has a passion to honor that background through research, community service, and cultural activities. A dancer and student leader, this recipient volunteers as a foreign language teacher and for a homeless shelter. When she identifies a need, she wastes no time on the sidelines. She is the founder or director of a number of organizations, with plans to attend the University of Southern California in the fall. Please welcome to the stage Grace Brethren's Angeli Lobana. Our next $2,500 recipient believes that, quote, Americans are always willing to give back to those who need it, and giving back is a way of life for this recipient. This volleyball player takes a class schedule with too many AP courses to count. She has committed thousands of volunteer hours at school and in the community, and has a particular passion for preserving the environment. A childhood cancer survivor, this recipient has used her experiences to give back and has committed to forever supporting the medical community that saved her life. From Thousand Oaks High School and headed to the University of California at Berkeley, please congratulate Paige Rosenberg. Our next recipient of a $2,500 scholarship believes that, quote, democracy, our acceptance, protection, and celebration of individual ideas and people is the hallmark of the American dream. As president of the Key Club, this student follows President Reagan's example of making sure that everyone's voices are heard. This recipient combines tremendous academics with a fearless approach to taking on new leadership roles. She's an award-winning scholar from Oak Park High School who plans to attend the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in the fall. Please welcome Catherine Shee. Our final $2,500 award recipient feels strongly that in America, no matter your background, you can rise to success. This student certainly knows a thing or two about success. He is an exceptional scholar athlete who uses his talents to serve the community. Despite being shy, he boldly took a role as a teacher's assistant to share his knowledge of computer programming. He excels on the orchestra stage as well as the volleyball court. From Westlake High School with plans to study at the California Institute of Technology next year, our award winner is Kevin Yee. Just a few minutes ago, we found out that this afternoon that Kevin's volleyball team is in CIF finals this evening. And since he's a key player, we could hardly blame him for choosing the volleyball court. However, we'd like to ask his mother to come to the stage to accept this award on his behalf. Is she here? Oh. Our next awards are for those students receiving a $5,000 Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation College Scholarship. Again, when I call your name, come and join me on the stage. Our first recipient follows the belief that, quote, to be an American is to be constantly pioneering. This student has carried this innovative and pioneering spirit into her school and community. Devoted to the Key Club and a faith-based youth group, this recipient has contributed hundreds of volunteer hours to serve the elderly. To say that she is academically gifted is an understatement, despite her very extensive involvement in activities and service outside school. This most articulate young lady attends Oak Park High School and plans to study at Stanford University in the fall. Congratulations, Laura Cruz Albrecht. Our next $5,000 recipient states, quote, when you can use your hard work to benefit yourself and to bless those around you, that's how you will know you're an American. This recipient embodies this combination of personal and community progress. Rooted in his faith, this student found confidence on the football field that translated to assuming leadership roles at school. His international travels have given him a better perspective on the greatness of our nation, as well as its responsibility to reach across our borders. Headed to the University of Notre Dame in the fall, please welcome Thousand Oaks High School's Dalton Flynn. Quote, "The American dream teaches us to swim harder when the tides are stronger," says this next recipient. As a leader, this student places value on building a strong team and cultivating relationships. She has combined her interests to serve as president of her 4-H club while leading related projects. Described as diligent and driven, she is editor of her school's newspaper and captain of the varsity golf team. This recipient attends Foothill Technology High School and plans to study at UC Davis in the fall. Congratulations to Glenda Marshall. Our next $5,000 recipient states that being an American is, quote, "about recognizing and seizing the opportunities with which you are faced." This student is motivated and not afraid to take a risk. Like many of her peers recognized today, this recipient recognizes the sacrifices of her ancestors and their desires to pursue the American dream. She is a dancer and an award-winning volunteer. This recipient most notably shines in mock trial and debate, serving as captain for both groups. This Lorena High School senior will study at UC Berkeley in the fall. Please join me in congratulating Nisha Srinivasa. Yes, I practiced that name for a few hours this afternoon. Our final two awards are for those students receiving a $7,000 Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation College Scholarship, plus an additional $500 grant for the teachers of the recipient's choice. Please come up to the stage when you hear your name. Keep your fingers crossed. Our first recipient contends that, quote, "Americans have never been content to just better themselves." A musician and writer, this recipient uses his creativity to better his school and community. He has used his own experiences to dabble in public policy to provide guidance for his school district. This student uses his tremendous public speaking and acting abilities to educate young people on the dangers of drugs and alcohol. He is a senior at Ventura High School and will study at Harvard University this fall. Please join me in congratulating Matthew Goodkin Gold. Okay, our final recipient tells us that, quote, "America embodies the spirit of freedom, encourages the pursuit of individuality, and strives for excellence." This student has undoubtedly achieved excellence as a young student leader. This recipient has enrolled in the most rigorous curriculum at school and pursues a myriad of academically challenging activities outside of the classroom. Okay, that could be any of you, right? No good hints yet. Beyond academics, this student excels at piano, golf, and service-related efforts. Her achievements in math and science are astounding, and we are certain she will make a name for herself in the STEM world. From Westlake High School and on her way to Stanford University, please welcome Cynthia Yin. I think our scholars deserve one more round of applause. As Tony and certainly Philip said, each one of you is part of an elite group of future leaders, and we do salute you. And I know the president would salute you if he were here as well. Before we open the buffets and allow you to enjoy dinner downstairs, I have a few housekeeping items. First, we hope you have enjoyed your time at the Reagan Library this evening and that you'll visit us again to discover more about Ronald Reagan's service to our country. As such, we are pleased to present each semifinalist recognized tonight with a one-year complimentary student membership in our Friends of the Reagan Foundation membership program. Details about activating your membership can be found in your program. We hope to see you all this summer. Immediately after our program, we would like to request that all the semifinalists join us in front of the mural for a group photograph. We will first take a photograph of all the 100 semifinalists, minus the 2 that are missing. Next, we'll take a photo of the recipients of our scholarship awards. The sooner we can gather, the sooner we get the picture, and the sooner we get to eat dinner. So parents, if you can please step back from this process a little bit, that will assist us in gathering much faster. And instructions for ordering the photos that are taken tonight are also found in your program. We have no problem if parents take the photograph, but we just need you to step back a little bit so that we can take our photograph more efficiently. During dinner, if the recipients of our scholarship awards would take turns sharing their thoughts on camera, just like the video that you saw at the beginning of the evening, we would love to highlight your accomplishments and your future in one of our future events. So instructions will be given to you, and our staff will escort you to a filming location while you're at dinner. So all of you can continue to tour Air Force One if you have not seen it, and if you have not seen it, shame on you, don't leave here without seeing it. Finally, before you leave this evening, please make sure that you pick up the certificates at the back of the auditorium here. If you're a principal or administrator representing a school, please stop by the table to pick up the certificates for all those students at your school who completed the application process but were not selected as semifinalists. Thank you again for joining us. This is one of the highlights of the Reagan Foundation year. It's great to have all of you here. Students, please give us 2 minutes to get rid of our screen and to move these chairs. We're going to ask everybody in this section here to stand and get rid of their chair. And then after the group photograph, everyone can go enjoy your dinner downstairs. So students, move this direction, if you would. Parents, back up just a little bit, and we'll accomplish all this. Thank you all for coming.